From mountains and rivers to borders and cities, geography shapes everything. And today, on 5 Minutes Geography, we're diving into one mountain range that changed Europe trades, travels, and even fights. And that mountain range is the Alps. No mountain range in Europe has influenced human history like the Alps. They are not just tall peaks or scenic landscapes. For thousands of years, the Alps have shaped climate, borders, trade, and entire civilizations. To understand modern Europe, we must first understand this massive natural barrier that cuts straight through the heart of the continent. Imagine a giant stone wall stretching across Europe, a wall made not by humans, but by nature itself. This is the Alps. They form a powerful arc across Central Europe and separate the Mediterranean world from Northern and Western Europe. Because of their location, the Alps act like a continental divider, influencing everything from weather systems to where people settled and traveled. The Alps stretch for nearly 100 kilometers. They pass through 8 countries: France, Switzerland, Monaco, Italy, Liechtenstein, Austria, Germany, and Slovenia. Although they are not the largest mountain system on Earth, they are the largest and highest range located entirely within Europe. Their influence is far greater than their size suggests. The Alps were born from a slow but violent process. Around 65 million years ago, the African tectonic plate began pushing northward into the Eurasian plate. This collision compressed the Earth's crust. Rock layers folded, cracked, and rose upward. Over millions of years, this pressure created the towering mountains we see today. And the process has not stopped. The Alps are still rising, just too slowly for humans to notice. The Alps are not one single wall of mountains. They are a complex system of many smaller ranges. Here we find some of Europe's most famous peaks. Mont Blanc rises nearly 4,900 meters on the border of France and Italy. The Alps have significantly influenced European climate. They create a barrier that affects weather patterns, causing different climate conditions on either side of the range. The northern side tends to be cooler and wetter, while the southern side is often warmer and drier. Throughout history, the Alps have acted as both a barrier and a bridge. They were a major obstacle for armies, traders, and travelers. Crossing the Alps was a daunting task, but it also created unique opportunities for those who dared to venture through. The Alps weren't just battlegrounds. They also influenced trade routes. Mountain passes like the Great St. Bernard Pass and the Brenner Pass became vital for commerce between northern and southern Europe. These routes allowed the exchange of goods, ideas, and culture. Other iconic mountains include the Matterhorn and the Eiger. These peaks define the dramatic character of the Alps with steep cliffs, narrow valleys, and sharp ridgelines. The Alps play a major role in Europe's climate. Moist air from the Atlantic Ocean is forced upward when it reaches the mountains. As the air rises, it cools. This causes heavy rain and snowfall on the northern and western sides of the Alps. This process creates green valleys and enormous snow reserves. Unlike some mountain ranges, the Alps do not create a massive rain shadow. This is because both the mountains and Europe's weather systems mostly run east to west. Snow and glaciers in the Alps feed some of Europe's most important rivers. The Rhine, Rhone, Po, and Danube all begin in or near the Alpine region. As snow melts, water flows outward across the continent. Millions of people depend on this water for drinking, farming, industry, and transport. Even countries far from the Alps rely on rivers born from alpine snow. The Alps also contain hundreds of lakes. Lakes like Geneva, Como, and Garda act as natural reservoirs. They help regulate river flow, reduce flooding, and support tourism and fishing. These lakes are not just beautiful, they are essential to Europe's water system. For early humans, the Alps were extremely difficult to cross. High passes were dangerous, weather changed quickly, Avalanches and steep terrain were constant threats. Still, archaeological evidence shows humans traveled through alpine valleys tens of thousands of years ago. The mountains were an obstacle, but not an impossible one. The Alps played a critical role in warfare. When Rome expanded northward, the mountains became a serious challenge. In 218 BCE, Hannibal shocked the ancient world by crossing the Alps with his army and elephants. Later, Rome fortified major mountain passes to control movement, trade, and defense. Roads, railways, and tunnels allow easy travel across the mountains. The Alps are now one of the world's largest tourism destinations. Every year, over 100 million visitors come to ski, hike, climb, and explore. The Alps remain vital to Europe's future. Their rivers power hydroelectric dams. Countries like Switzerland generate nearly half of their electricity from hydropower. The Alps continue to supply water to farms, cities, and industries far beyond their borders. However, the Alps are changing. Temperatures are rising faster here than the global average. Glaciers are shrinking. Snow lines are moving higher. Permafrost is melting. These changes threaten water supplies, infrastructure, and winter tourism economies. The Alps support unique ecosystems. Different elevations create microclimates. Many plant and animal species exist nowhere else on Earth. The word alpine itself comes from these mountains and is now used worldwide. Around 14 million people live within the alpine region today. But the Alps influence all of Europe. They shaped climate. They shaped rivers. They shaped borders, cultures, and empires. The Alps are not just mountains. They are one of the most powerful forces in European history. And that brings us to the end of today's journey through the majestic Alps. If you enjoyed learning something new, make sure to like the video and share it with fellow geography lovers. Subscribe to 5 Minutes Geography for more short, fascinating stories about our planet. Until next time, keep exploring the world, one mountain, one valley, one peak at a time.